You're listening to KCYP 97.7 The City. This is Scarlet Rose, and you're now listening to RGV Rocks. Thank you for the intro, Adex. Just once again, you are listening to KCYP 97.7 FMLP, The City. This is Scarlet Rose here on RGV Rocks, KCYP 97.7 FMLP, The City. It's a nonprofit organization that promotes local artists such as myself and is the home of indie music. We are now accepting donations through our website, www.thecity977.com, as well as sponsorships to keep this radio station thriving. For more information on paying donations, sponsorships, or business advertisement, feel free to contact Joe Martinez at 956-789-0702 or by email at martinezjoe@hotmail.com. If you want to be leaving donations for the station below, if you want to leave a donation for the station, please click the link in the description below or just follow the instructions in the description. So be sure to donate to us. And if you want to become a sponsor, you just heard that right now, just contact Joe Martinez. That's pretty much it. For people that don't know who we are, what we do, RGV Rocks, the radio show, and now an online podcast dedicated to local talent, events, and all the wonderful people in the RGV, such as you and I. Today, he's not our co-host anymore, but now our interviewee, the one and only JEGthePoet. How are you doing?
Ah! That's all I gotta say. What's going on?
So how are you doing? How have you been? Especially, it's been like, I think since it's been a whole year since we've actually done an interview on you. I know you've been the co-host on here on RGV Rocks for a couple of months now, and we haven't seen you in a while, but we wanted to re-interview you since you are an up-and-coming artist. You're getting a little bit more famous now. How have you been?
Well, since the last time you saw me, you literally saw me, like it was my face and whatnot.
Yeah.
But as I grow with my art and with my music and whatnot, I want the focus to always continue on with the music and not on me. You know, I don't like this era in the world that we live in where, you know, celebrity culture, TMZ, paparazzi, all that. I don't like that. You know, if I'm going to grow, it's going to be just for my music alone, not for who I am behind the mask, you know, as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. I've been creating this new image, working on new songs, new album coming soon. And I'm pretty hyped up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about more about not the new album that is coming out, but more of like your more recent music. Instead of SoundCloud, you are now on Spotify, Apple Music, and whatnot. How do you feel about the transitional change from being a SoundCloud rapper to now a full-time artist?
Well, I wouldn't have done it without Chris Troy, him and the Auxilium crew. They go pretty hard. You know, I met him through VNBN when we worked together. Remember that? We filmed that season 3 of that show. Was it season 3 or 4?
It's
I'm not
for
sure.
anybody who is wondering, me and Jeg, of course, but specifically also me. I've been working with VNBN along with Chris Choi as well as the whole crew. There is a show that we have done on YouTube called SCP Adenumicide. That is the show that he's talking about. For anyone that is like wondering, like, oh, what show? What do we watch? You know,
Yeah.
season 3 is coming out soon. I'm not quite sure as to when, but make sure to go view that soon because there's going to be a very special appearance, and you'll get to see his face in this by the one and only JEGthePoet.
I don't think advertising my face is a good idea, but
I know, but I mean, like, what's it called?
I'm in it. I'm in it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And
What?
because of, you know, Chris Troy, I wouldn't be where I am right now, having my music on Spotify and Apple Music. Honestly, it's very surreal to me. I never thought it'd be so soon that I'd get there. Even though I've been doing this for 5 years already, it just feels soon, and it's a whole new avenue to explore. And I'm
Mm.
really excited to put my, you know, new music onto here. So I'm gonna be retiring from SoundCloud just for a bit because honestly, you know, there's only a certain amount of people you could reach, especially in a different. What the heck?
And we're back. So that was really unexpected. I didn't know that you're gonna get an unexpected guest at your house. But regardless, going back to the question, what else would you like to say about that? I know you got cut off for a second.
We were talking about Apple Music and Spotify, right?
Yes. About your
Yeah,
retirement.
I'm retiring from SoundCloud. I'm not really gonna be putting new music there whatsoever. Maybe singles here and there, but other than that, like I really want to focus everything on all platforms rather than just having it in one place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it reaches a wider audience because not everyone else has SoundCloud, dude. Other
Mm-hmm.
people have, well, a majority of people that I know use SoundCloud, not SoundCloud, use Spotify on a freaking daily. You know, even you use Spotify on a
I know
freaking
I have
daily.
so many playlists. If you guys have seen my playlist, I have two specific playlists with over, I think, I'm trying to remember, I think 1,000 songs. And that's just two playlists, compared to like my other ones that I have. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to use Spotify, but I've just been on Apple Music since for a
Yeah.
good minute now, honestly.
You're in that like whole new wave of like a new whole wave of music at this point because like I personally don't like Apple Music. I like I had it for about I think 3 months, and then after that I was like, okay, that's kind of annoying. I miss Spotify. But
I like
go
them both, but I just been using it, Apple Music.
yeah. Going back into that whole thing, how do you feel about finally breaking through to that whole stereotypical SoundCloud rapper label? How do you feel about like you're actually breaking that label at this point?
It feels good because I never liked calling myself a SoundCloud rapper, and like even calling myself a rapper, like nowadays, I'm still kind of hesitant about it. Cause yeah, I do rap and I make rap music, but I don't see myself fully as just a rapper. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm a poet, and I will bring poetry in any creative medium that I work on. If it's film, if it's music, whatever, there's gonna be poetry in it. So coming out of SoundCloud, it just feels great because I feel like I'm gonna be taken more serious now. Like, oh, he's just not some loser boy that's just trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's a legitimate artist who's putting his art out there and it feels great.
Yeah, I get you. Because I know that there's a whole stigma, especially with like SoundCloud rappers, because they're like viewed like, oh, they're just super try hard. They're just gonna stick to like SoundCloud and not anything else. So
Or like, oh, SoundCloud's just for mumble rappers
yeah.
or this and that, blah blah blah. It's rowdy.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, because you mentioned how you're branching off into different elements, specifically within your new era in your career, I noticed that you had performed some poetry at an event. You want to talk about that specifically, where it was and what you did?
Yeah, I did a reading at Junto's Coop. They were doing an open mic, and I didn't have this mask on yet. I had a different mask on. It was a pretty good experience. I went on first. I honestly wanted to go last, but I saw nobody else was signing the sign-in sheet, so I took the initiative. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get up on my butt first, and I'm gonna sign up, and then maybe from there people will get like the inspiration to get up and sign. And luckily they did, but it was kind of rowdy because I honestly really wanted to go last because I
Yeah.
wanted to see how these poets do compared to me, especially since my style of poetry reading is just extremely different from these. Yeah, yes, I did bring a journal, but I did that thing where I brought it up and I just put it down and I immediately just started spitting bars.
Yeah.
Because like
Oh,
I, I,
continue.
don't- I don't like I don't like reading through my journal, if that makes sense. Like if I'm gonna perform my poetry, my work is gonna come out from the heart, already memorized. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna go
That's just
off
how
of
I am.
what's it called for people that don't know. The reason he's called Jug the Poet is because I don't know if actually anybody has. I don't think I also brought this up in the last interview we did with you too. You have done poetry competitions before. I think you won one of them, and I can't remember. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, I was first place in the 2019 VIPF, the Valley International Poetry Festival.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, and I was against all these other young like teenagers in high school and whatnot. And since I was still in high school myself, I had to compete with them. I honestly really wanted to compete with the adults, but no one took me serious. So when I ended up winning the freaking kids one, it was like, well, no doubt, you know.
Yeah, you're already
Not
18 at
trying
that point.
I'm not trying to be how do I say, like, rowdy to kids or anything, but by the time I was 18, I'm riding at a college level higher, I don't know
Mhm.
why they still put me with these kids. I should have been competing higher. But nah, it's because I was still in high school.
Yeah. So for going off of what he was saying, for those that who don't know Jeg's work, his lyrics mainly compose of poetry and a lot of like, how can I say it? It's a lot of symbolism, a lot of metaphors here and there. He goes more onto the lyricism rather than the actual like rapping part. It's really interesting how you take that because what's it called? Your rap is influenced mainly from poetry, and I find it really interesting that what's it called? We don't really find many artists like you specifically because I know that we've interviewed I think one other rapper that does deals with lyricism such as that, but we don't really find that many people nowadays, especially within like the rap community.
It's because people are afraid to speak their mind,
Mm-hmm.
especially with having their face so public. They're afraid to say anything because nowadays you can get shot for the most, tiniest of things. If you want to speak about abortion, you got to be very careful because you're stepping into unwanted territory with your art and whatnot. So a lot of days, lyricists, writers, rappers, artists of any kind, they stay in their own comfort zone and stick to what works because that's who they are and that's the image that they want to keep up. So they themselves will get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to me, I write about everything and anything because it's how I feel about it. And everything that I write is opinionated rather than it being facts. It is facts on my end of because it's stuff that I've been through, that I lived, and it's factual that I have evidence that I've gone through it. You know what I mean? But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to be spitting, scientific quotas or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Don't
My
worry.
when I write, I write about what I'm going through in life, what I'm going through here, living in America, in this town here in Texas. I'm not gonna be writing about, working in LA or at a bar or something. Anywho, yeah, rappers are just they're afraid. They rap a persona that they're really not, and I guess I'm using that to my advantage at the same time because I'm not a ghost. I'm not this evil spirit rapper. I'm just a guy
Mm-hmm.
behind the mask. You know what I mean? But if rappers can pursue any persona that they want, how come I can't? So
Yeah.
that's what I started doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being this whole bling bling, oh rapper, lean, drugs, all type of rapper, I'm gonna be this. I'm this masked figure, and this is who I'm gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at through the history of hip hop, people have disguised their true identities with rap names. Not a lot of people use the mask. If people did use a mask, one of the most iconic ones is MF Doom. God rest his soul. But even in different what's it called, mediums of art, we have anonymous writers, anonymous drawers, anonymous just creatives that do what they do because they like it but don't want to be seen. And it's a persona that they're, you know, trying to push for.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's all an act. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Trust me. I feel like what's it called? A lot of people out there tend to do this, especially. I think the most how can I say this? The most used example that I can think of right now is also like VTubers. They just do anonymous stuff, but they still want to entertain people. You know what I mean? So what's it called?
Exactly.
Yeah, basically. And the thing is, it's really hard to do that too because like whenever you want to VTube, I know some people like to have their persona linked, to their actual self, but there are some people that aren't genuinely comfortable. And I've seen like people get doxxed before because of the fact that they find their true identities and they're like, oh well, and then they start having stalkers and all of this stuff. So I understand the anonymous what's it called build up, especially within this persona that you're trying to exemplify.
Yeah. What's it called? I was gonna say something, but what's it called? It got real foggy in here, in my head at least. Ah.
It's okay. It's one of
When
the
it
cons
comes
that come with
what
with the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to being an anonymous entertainer, one thing that, um, especially when you're starting off, one thing that you'll have is people that already know your face, and they're trying to, figure out why the heck you're trying to do this.
Yeah.
I've already got comments here and there. They're like, "Whoa, I already seen you. What's the whole point?"
Yeah.
And it's like they don't get it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand that there's people out there that see my face. There's photos of me out there, videos and whatnot. Especially with this new season of the VNBN show, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, there's people out there that still don't know what my music is, still don't know what I stand for, and still don't know who I am. So that's why I'm wearing the mask, to grab their attention, bring it to me. Here's my music. Here's everything that I made. There you go. But
Mm-hmm.
ignore me. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
the people that have seen my face, well, that's a freaking privilege, because you're either my friends and family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be letting random strangers out in a show, or just people out there who I'm working with see my face. No, like, my face, my life, that just belongs to me. That's my identity. I don't want to put anyone that I love in danger at all. And that's why I do things the way I do. Even though I'm not doing it professional or doing it like other artists other artists should here in the valley or whatever, right? But I'm still getting somewhere, and I see myself as a threat to others because of how I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No,
I hope
what's it
that makes
called?
sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Don't worry. I think you've done pretty good at explaining yourself, especially for what you do and especially your art. Specifically, I want to ask and bring this up. Since you are trying to go within explaining your own art, especially within the past couple of albums and EPs. I'm gonna bring this up, yes. How would you say how would you say that you have been inspired to create the past couple of EPs, which is called So What, Jerk, and also Psychosis Ghost? What is the storyline there, and why did you do it?
It's more of a I was gonna stick it to having it a trilogy, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
pushing it off to a whole saga with four EPs
Saga.
following back to back to back saga. Four EPs following back to back to back. Straightforward storyline. Um, this storyline is really heavily mentally. How do I say this?
Based.
It's based on mental health. Yeah, and it's based on stuff that I've been through growing up. Trying to find peace, trying to find mental health, and help with that. So basically, the root of the story, like, you'll meet these characters in the very beginning. It's in the Jag EP. Essentially, you have the character Jag, not me. There's one thing I gotta let down here real quick. Jag in my albums and Jag IRL, two complete different people. Like, we're not connected at all. It's based, but it's different. It's more of like an exaggerated version of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you meet IRL me, I'm more of a chill dude, blah blah blah. Obviously, you know me, Destiny.
Yeah, I know you
But
don't.
when it comes to Jag on rap, he's a more exaggerated persona of me that's very heavy hitting, egotistic. He knows who he is. He likes it. What's up? And especially in this story in this world, he's powerful. His rhymes are his powers, and he's able to protect himself with that. But what happens when the hero is mentally broken inside? We follow that storyline, trying to figure out who he is and where he stands in this world where other super beings, exist. Uh, I like to read comics a lot. I'm a DC Marvel fan, and I hate DC the most, because
Thing.
there's just so many superheroes that just contrast with the stories and the worlds of Superman and Batman. You know what I mean? So many superheroes. Same thing with Marvel and the MC. So many freaking heroes. Blah 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 blah. But in a way, they keep it well rounded. DC, they've always stuck in with the ironic superhero book. Oh man, my bad. Oops, oops. Okay, it's kind of funny though.
Oh
That should be like a sticker. Anywho,
my god.
but yeah, based on comics and whatnot. So going on with the story, Jag starts hearing this voice, and this voice, he calls himself Jerk. But in all actuality, it's this ghost that like entered his head. His name is Psychosis Ghost. But like when he entered Jeg's body, Jeg's head, he got amnesia and their memories got mixed up together. So he started calling himself Jerk because it's close to Jeg. But later on during the story, Jerk realizes that he's a Psychosis Ghost, and the Psychosis Ghost and Jeg, they can't correlate and they can't work together. So there's this feud that happens between them, like who's gonna take over the body, who's gonna win the body, who's gonna keep this power, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do listen to my music, you'll hear contrast with the voices. You hear how like the lyrics, um, I'm talking about someone, but that someone is very obviously me by the way I rap back. One song in particular, if you listen to rap flow, you'll hear me talking to me, if that makes sense. But it's just like the two characters just contrasting with each other in the same body, and that's what I like to do a lot in my writing. It's me versus me, but it's not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the same body, but two people living inside here. So I write like that. And now with the new with the new albums, there's more characters inside here, and it's kind of hard to write for that, but it's been fun coming up with these different personas and these characters. Of course, Jerk is Psychosis Ghost. I forgot, and this camera's mirrored, so Jerk is Psychosis Ghost, Psychosis Ghost, Jeg, and then we have Burrito, then we have Void, and then we have Quantum Phantom, and then we have there's one more. No, it's just five. But yeah, there is one more, I swear, because one of the lines is this world through six different lenses, because there's six personas. There's one more I'm
You'll
forgetting.
figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Nah, you just have to wait and hear the album.
Yeah. Speaking about the speaking about the new album, when is it coming out? It is called Void, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Void, the ending of the saga. I'm really excited for this one. It should be coming out in August. I'm not sure on a date yet because me and the Auxilium crew, we're trying to push for all of us to have some music coming out August, and we're trying to correlate what week, what day, whatnot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Void is the ending of the saga. We're gonna see the clashes and battles between Quantum Phantom and Psychosis Ghost. Jeg entering the void and trying to get out. It's gonna be an awesome time. I'm gonna spit some heavy bars. I won't have any features whatsoever. I don't It's not that I hate features, but this album is very personal.
Yeah.
So having a feature just won't make sense in the context of this album.
Yeah, I get you, especially since like So What was like I think the majority of features that you had in that specific album.
It was a good time though. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
So what's it called? I guess we're ending the end of our show already at this point. But
That was quick, really.
yeah, it's really quick. Like I said, it goes by like this. Um
What? Oh my
yes.
goodness.
Yeah. Going back, what's it called? I have one more question to ask you, Jeg, and
Let's
that
get it.
is what's it called? What can we expect more of you specifically? Because I know you've been going like from event to event doing poetry. Do you have anything else that's coming up?
No, nothing really set in mind. If anything pops up, y'all could just check it out on Instagram at JEGthePoet.
Actually, speaking of which, you want to send out shout outs, and then after that, what's it called? Any social media do you want to like plug in?
Yes, shout out to the previous interviewee, Camerafino. Love that guy.
Yeah,
And of course,
especially
love him so much. And shout out to Chris Choi and the Auxilium crew. Shout out to Odd X. And pues ya sabes, follow me on Instagram. I'm at Jeg the Poet. All platforms at Jeg the Poet. Ya sabes, let's get it.
mm-hmm. Especially what's it called? Um what's it called? I would have to. I'm so embarrassed at this point because I'm like, oh shoot, Rudy's not here. So I'm like, oh no, I have to do this all by myself again. But for anybody who don't know, for anybody who is barely listening in, I just want to give a quick shout out to you all listeners. What's it called? I want to give a quick shout out to also the people that have been contributing to Lyme Awareness Month. Lyme Awareness Month is in May, and it's starting today. For people that are seeing this on Thursday, make sure to just say hello, give that support for anybody who has Lyme, especially like myself. So I I am currently trying to advocate I'm trying to advocate for Lyme, just saying that there are people out there with this invisible illness, and it sucks dearly actually, because you go through so many things for so many years. I just wanted to advocate that really quick. But for people that would like to check us out and learn more about what we do on our show, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks, and Twitter is Rocks RGV. Once again, Facebook and Instagram, RGV Rocks, and Twitter, Rocks RGV. Thank you so much, JEGthePoet, for being here with us in the studio. It's been a while, especially since I think you co-host the last time, right? Oh, not the last time, but a couple of episodes before that. So I especially want to remind everyone, thank you for listening to our humble show. We'll be here next time on KCYP 97.7 FM LP the city. See ya.